Hi, welcome back. Our new governor, Mr. Raghuram Rajan, introduced and announced a swap facility with the RBI for FCNRB, because of which our currency saw a lot of traction. So, our objective for the day is to help you understand what exactly is FCNRB and how FCNRB actually can get more dollars into our country. FCNRB stands for Foreign Currency Non-Resident Deposit Scheme. Now, like the name clearly suggests, it is having the NRI deposit into our country. So, say for example, if you are an NRI in the US, you will have US dollars. Now, let's assume you have one US dollar. If you invest this one US dollar in some bank in the US, you would get paid close to 2.5% as interest. But you know that if you give the same to India, Indian banks will pay a little higher interest, which is why this $1 comes to deposit to India through one of the schemes of which FCNRB is an option. So let's say this $1 comes to India to ICICI, where ICICI guarantees to pay 4.5% interest. So now what happens is, let's assume $1 is 50 rupees. For assumption sake, probably this would make things a little easier for us to do on the math front. So the $1 that ICICI receives, ICICI converts it at 50 rupees and gets 50 rupees. Now what will ICICI do with this 50 rupees? ICICI will give this 50 rupees as loan to someone at 10%. So at the end of the year, ICICI will receive 5 rupees as interest on the same. Okay. So ICICI on 50 rupees of deposits has made an interest of 5 rupees. Now what happens is, let's assume at the end of the year, when this entire transaction was supposed to be squared up, still $1 is 50 rupees. So what will happen? ICICI has 55 rupees, 50 rupees of principal plus 5 rupees of interest currently. We'd promised the NRI that on $1 we are going to pay him 4.5% as interest. That means at the end of the year we've got to return to him $1.045. Now at $1 equal to 50 rupees, how much is going to be $1.045? So we're saying at this particular current rate, we will have $1.045 equal to 52.25 rupees. Now ICICI Bank has 55 rupees. ICICI Bank will use 52.25 rupees to get $1.04, which will be given back to the NRI. The remaining, so out of 55, we've already paid 52.25. The remaining 2.75 rupees is the income for ICICI Bank. Now, this is a very healthy situation where the bank is making money. Let's say in the entire case, at the end of the year when the bank receives 55 rupees, at that time, $1 becomes 60 rupees. Now, this is going to be a great situation for the bank. Let's try and understand why. How much do we have to pay to the NRI at the end of the year? We've got to pay to the NRI 1.045. Now, if I have to pay to the bank NRI 1.045, and if dollar is 60 now, how much will I have to pay to the bank? How much will I have to pay? 1.045 into 60. I'll have to pay 62.7 rupees in Indian term to the NRI. How much do I have at the end of the year? 55, which means I will make, this is minus, I will make a loss of 7.7 rupees if there is a movement in the currency where the rupee is depreciating. To counter this, what typically happens is that as soon as the NRI puts 1%, $1 with ICICI Bank, ICICI Bank follows the entire thing that we've learned exactly the same way, but is scared about the currency. Hence, ICICI Bank would hedge its currency, hedge the currency risk. Now, what is hedging the currency risk? Transferring the risk of the dollar movement to some other third party. But when you are transferring that risk to some other third party, you will have to pay some money. So, what I want you to understand is that if 10% is what ICICI Bank makes as interest, normally around 6% goes off for hedging the currency. So, ultimately, so let's say 5% goes off for a calculation purpose with respect to the example that I gave you. So, I make 10% as ICICI on interest, but I pay 5% as hedging cost on my currency. So typically I make only 5% out of the entire deposit that I received from the NRI, from which 4.5% I pay back to the NRI because I had promised. The net income that I make is 0.5% on the reserves. So out of me, after making so much of effort, at the end of the day, what I get paid is only 0.5%. Now, this never attracted the banks to actually go ahead and offer more interest rate to NRIs, because of which NRIs did not pour in a lot of money to our country. So what happened is on the 4th of September, we had Mr. Raghugam Rajan announcing that the RBI will offer a swap facility where any commercial bank, let's say ICICI, can swap the currency risk, with RBI. Now, because of this, you actually saw our currency going up 8%. So rupee appreciating 8%. Now let's try and understand what exactly does this mean and why did it help our currency appreciate a little more. So RBI said, if you as ICICI Bank are taking deposits from NRI for a maturity of let's say 3 years, you can swap it with me, which means that ICICI, let's say, received $1. ICICI can give this $1 to RBI. If $1 is 50 rupees, RBI will give back 50 rupees, to ICICI. But this is a normal transaction. So what is different? Difference is that irrespective of wherever the currency moves, the entire currency risk, or in terms of what we understood in the last slide, the entire hedging cost will be taken care by RBI, for which ICICI needs to pay only 3.5% interest, which means $1 if is at 50 rupees, they will do the entire transaction at $1 equal to 50 rupees only, irrespective of whatever the market dollar rate or the rupee rate is quoting at, which takes care of the hedging, for which RBI will only charge 3.5% interest to ICICI Bank. Now please try and understand now what happens. Suppose I am ICICI. I received $1 from RBI, from my client in the US. I converted $1 into 50 rupees. I gave 50 rupees on interest at 10%, received 55 rupees, where 5 rupees is my interest. Let's assume $1 is now 60 rupees. Let's assume $1 is now 60 rupees. What happened is when I received $1, I gave this $1 to RBI. RBI paid me 50 rupees. Okay, I received that 50 rupees. I gave it a 10% interest. I made 55 rupees. Now $1 is 60 rupees, which was the pain for ICICI before. Now what happens in the entire transaction is that if I was liable to pay 4.5%, I would receive from, rather I would have to pay to the NRI 1.05%, $1.05 at the end of the year. I have 55 rupees, irrespective of wherever the dollar is. Like in our case, $1 is 60. The RBI will still do the transaction with me at $1 equal to 55. Sorry, 50. Which means if now I have 55 rupees, I will give 55 rupees to RBI. Though the market rate is $1 equal to 60 rupees, RBI will still consider for me $1 is 50 rupees. And for 55 rupees that I give RBI, RBI will give me $1.1. So 50 rupees will give me $1, and the remaining 5 rupees will give me another $0.1. So it will give me $1.1. If it would have been 60 rupees, which is the current market price, it would have given me close to $0.8. But because of this swap allowed, it gave me $1.1 back. So I will pay out of the $1.1, $1.05 back, and I will make an income of $0.55. Now what exactly happened? Try and understand. Means that out of 10% that I received from giving loans, I will have to pay 3.5% to RBI for giving me this hedging facility. So how much did I make? 6.5. Now I was offering 4.5 to the NRI before because my net income was 5%. Now my net income is 6.5%, which means my net income from 5% has gone up to 6.5%. I can offer more interest rates to NRI so that NRI can give me more dollars or any other foreign currency to our country. This will actually has increased the flow of dollars to our country. It is expected that we might accumulate close to $10-15 million in the next 3 months, because this scheme is only open till the 30th of November 2013. After this scheme was actually announced, we saw the rupee going up 8% because there was an expectation that more dollars will flow into our country. Obviously, we saw the banking stocks go up because they started making a little more money, or there was an expectation that they will make a little more money. We saw bonds going up and we saw yields falling. Now, why did bonds go up? Why did yields fall? If you've seen the quantitative easing video, you will exactly understand why. I hope in the meanwhile you've understood what's an FCNR. FCNR bracket says B. B basically stands for banking. I hope it's clear.